Now, the problem that most kids have with trig is, I don't know what ratio to use. Draw a triangle. I did draw a triangle. I still don't know what ratio to use. Write out everything you know. I did write out everything I know. I still don't know what ratio to use. Get out your notes. I did get out my notes. I still don't know what ratio to use. And at that point, I don't know either then. Draw a triangle. That's all you have to draw. Once you have a triangle, you can do trig. Does it have to be perfect? No. Does it have to look like the situation in real life? No. It just has to be a 90-degree triangle. And then you read. Ike is standing on the soccer field looking at the roof of the school. Is Ike floating in the air? No. Is Ike standing at the bottom of the school? No, because he's standing out in the soccer field. So where's the only place Ike can be standing? Right out here, which makes that theta.
What if the soccer field is on a hill?
That's lawyer bullying.
What soccer field is on a hill?
Many soccer fields.
What if it's like
flat in the land?
Okay.
And then, of course, you recognize that he is 42 meters away from the school. There is only one line here that can be 48 meters away from the school, and it has to be the line along the ground. Then, of course, you recognize that my man Ike is looking at an angle of elevation. Elevation goes up from the horizontal. There are two horizontals. There is that horizontal, and there is that horizontal. Which one has an angle that goes up from it? The blue one. So therefore, this is our angle of elevation, which is 30 degrees. And once you get there, you should all be able to do trig faster than I can actually write it down. By now. Especially you guys. The regular grade 10s are seeing it for the first time. You guys are not. If you are in doubt, you don't know what to do, then, of course, all you do is write out everything you know. Theta equals 30. Your adjacent equals 42, and obviously you need the opposite because you need the height of the school. There's your x. And of course, then you say to yourself, SOHCAHTOA, oa, t, oa. Oh yes, tan of 30 equals opposite x over 42. And the answer is 42 tan 30. Now, I would like to make a couple of suggestions to you here. As you go on in trig class, more often than not, you should have been noticing by now that the way math went up to grade 10 is not the way math is going to continue on past grade 10, right? When you're in grade 5, grade 6, grade 7, grade 8, Mrs. Bad Crumble or Mr. Bad Crumble gave you a question that had one answer, you got the answer, you got your gold star, and then you thought you were brilliant, yes? That's how elementary school went for every single one of you. That's why you're in pre-dip 10. So, unfortunately, the real world is slightly more complicated than that. And often you will find yourself needing to go further than this, which is why you will notice I often write this out, because I may need to go on further than this. And if I perform that calculation on my calculator, am I going to get a precise answer? Of course not. I'm going to get an irrational answer. Yes? I lie. It's not going to be irrational because, of course, it was a fraction. It's just going to be a yucky long decimal. And what are we going to do immediately to that? Round that off, which would then skew any real-world results. Yes? So I like to write that, and in this case, because these questions are very basic trig questions, that is the end. We could go ahead and round it off. But I would like for you guys, much like we stopped using 3.14 for pi, and we started leaving it as the pi symbol, much like that, I want you to be aware that as you go further along into trigonometry and math in general, you're going to often see tan 30 written as tan 30, not as a decimal. Everybody understand that? You've all watched Big Bang Theory. Do yourself a favor and catch one or two of the equations that are written on a whiteboard somewhere. And you will often see sine, cosine, tan written there. Now, of course, all the guys on the show don't know what those mean. But I've heard that they actually have a research staff, and all those equations are indeed real. I don't know why they'd bother, because 99% of the people watching that show don't understand math anyway, but whatever. So yeah, you're going to see it written that way, and I would like for you to start trying to get used to working with that, because as we go further into trig, we're going to go beyond one simple answer. And you may need 42, tan, 30 later on. Okay? Okay. So, of course, you can work that out on your own later. But if you get to there, you've done the trig. Yeah? Yeah. All right. Let's go to our next question. Abby's flying in an airplane at 2,500 feet. 2,500 feet. How far away horizontally is the town of Mission if Abby sees it below her at an angle of depression of 15? Again, this question causes trouble because it is an angle of depression question. For some strange reason, angles of depression are very difficult. Where is our good friend Abby? Up in the air. Here she is. Curses, I have to wait for my computer to thaw. Of course, Abby is up in the air. How far up in the air? That's a crappy plane. I'm not comfortable with that. There we go.
2,500 feet.
The plane is 2,500 feet. Now, how are you going to complete this triangle? Again, does it have to look like real life? Of course not. So you could just draw a triangle. There's a problem with that triangle. What is it? It doesn't have an angle of depression, does it, Leighton? It only has an angle of elevation, which is down here, yes? But you guys are smart kids. To complete that rectangle, here would be my angle of depression, wouldn't it? Isn't that and that the same thing? Everybody cool? So did I actually need an angle of depression? No, but I did need to know something about math to do this question, yes? Because I guarantee you, if we didn't have this discussion, some of even you would have told me 15 was right there. I know some of you would, because I've given this question to countless groups of pre-diploma Math 10 kids, and in those countless groups, there are a significant proportion of them that continue to put the angle of depression in the wrong spot. Now, the question is, which line do I need? I need the horizontal. Is this the same as this? Could I use the black triangle if I wish? Of course I can. The principle that goes with it is an angle of depression, which is between the horizontal and down to a target, must be the same as said target's angle of elevation, which only makes sense, yes? Because it makes a rectangle. So again, if you write it out, you can't do it wrong. Theta was 15, opposite was 2,500, adjacent was x. And you do your math, of course it is tan 15, 2,500 over x. And then we do algebra, 2,500 divided by tan 15 equals x. And I'm going to leave it that way. Why? Because that's the trig. Up to, once you're to there, it's all calculator work, yes? I would, of course, expect you guys to be appropriate here, yes? Is it appropriate to this question or the question before to leave it in this form if you were handing it in to me? Do you think? I'm asking you. There's neither a right nor a wrong answer here. But if these were the levels of questions with which you were faced, would you leave the answer like that? Why not, Byron? It's a simple question. It ends right there. How tall are you? Well, I'm 250 divided by the tan of 71, Mr. Myers. No. How tall are you? 5'7". You understand the difference? And how far do I have to drive to get to Mission? Well, you have to drive 2,500 divided by the tan of 15. Right? It's like something that Dr. Evil would do in thinking it was some sort of weird code. Never mind. Huh? Austin Powers? Dr. Evil? He's got the cat, Mr. Bigglesworth. $1 million.
My mom got a card with that on it once.
Nothing.
No. Do you have any ideas? No.
We should have seen soft in there.
Okay. Now.
Oh, we have this question.
Yeah, number 11 makes, I don't know why, but nobody can seem to figure it out. You have to make a triangle. Excellently done, Leighton. So let's draw it. What would it look like? Just looks like a triangle. What information do we have about that triangle?
A road rises 1 meter.
Where's the rise?
Rise
1. Where's the 19?
would be of
The hypotenuse. Because that's where the road is. You cannot mine through a mountain and then build an elevator. That's where the road is. This question is always drawn poorly. Now, the next question is pretty easy. To the nearest meter, how far does a car travel horizontally when it travels 300 meters along the road? There are 2 ways to solve this problem. What are the 2 ways? Lauren.
Multiply 1 and 19 by 300 and then find your answer, or you could find your answer and then multiply by 300.
So Lauren says that if I go 300 meters along the road, say that again, Lauren. You went so fast, then you added something in at the end, and I was following you along, and then you said something different at the end, and then I was trying to think that out, and then I lost what you were saying at the first time.
Never mind, it would work. You would,
But
okay, so you would divide 300 by 19,
yes,
and then you would, and that cool number, and then you would find the math stuff for the,
yes. Lauren is doing this version of solving the problem. 300, right?
yeah.
And this is x, and this you would have to find by doing the square root of 19 squared minus 1 squared. And then once you had that pair, you could similar triangle it. That's what Lauren was doing. Yes?
I wasn't gonna do the,
Yeah, but you were using ratios because you were dividing 300 by 19. It's all similar triangle stuff. That is one way to do it. Is there another way that you could do this question? You could find this angle, theta, using what? Sine. So sine theta equals 1 over 19, right? Yeah, I'm just going to get to that. Of course, that's the sine. To find the angle, it's shift sine of 1 over 19. Then, as soon as my triangle shows up, this answer goes where? Right there, because the angle is the same, isn't it?
Yes.
And then what does this become? 300. And then I use that to find that. This is an example of keeping this on your calculator, yes? And writing it out. Everybody cool with that one? Okay. Notice, please, that I'm stopping at concepts here because I believe that at least 75% of you have seen all these questions before, yes? So I'm making sure to cement the concepts with you. Yeah? All right. All right. So I want you guys to determine the area of this rectangle, just like it says, but you are not allowed to touch your calculator at all until you are ready to give me the answer in one shot. Does everybody understand what I just said? So it's going to require a lot of writing, yes? Go. No touching the calculator
Until you can do it.
until you can do it in all one go.
Oh, you do it all in one.
Yes, you are allowed to press equals once. See if anybody can figure it out.
Hey, if I'm wrong.
I have the utmost faith that you guys will be able to do this.
Thanks.
I'm just going to pause the recording, though, because there's no need.
Thank you.
Jorts. That's funny. Jean shorts. Jorts.
Something I got something really close enough.
Everyone knows the
L. That's not the way I'd write it. L and W, yeah? Okay. I won't. How about this, Byron? Because I don't want to waste time. How about I turn that off and I write the way I'd do it? And then we check yours in a moment. Okay.
Mr. Myers, is that 12.7 meters the like length?
It is the hypotenuse.
The hypotenuse.
Indeed. I am at the point now where I could go to my calculator. Does everybody else feel they are there too?
I could go to my calculator,
You feel you could?
but I don't
Is
know.
everybody ready? Okay, if you feel you go to your calculator, pick it up right now. To do this on my calculator, I need to press 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 buttons. That's the only time. Oh, 17, because I got to push equals. I'm going to start pushing said buttons right now.
The 17 random lessons in super.
It's really cold.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
How did it just get so cold?
Maybe the air conditioner started working.
It's a spiritual
Who is ready with an answer?
Taylor.
Leighton, what do you have?
I have 54 meters.
54 meters. She's cheering already. Is that just because you think Leighton is that smart? What if Leighton is completely wrong? I'll tell you something. In grade 9, Leighton was wrong once. The entirety of grade 9. So is it okay to cheer, do you think? Yeah, of course it's okay to cheer. Because the answer is indeed 53.96. Leighton has rounded it off to the nearest tenth, which is 54.
Wait, what did he get wrong?
I have no idea.
I don't remember.
What do you? He probably remembers.
I don't remember.
He probably has engraved.
Because I marked his tests.
Haunts his nightmares.
Was it actually one?
I believe he got one question wrong once.
Ever last year.
Did he retest to try to?
Everybody retests because I do
Wait,
cumulatives.
Win the math award.
Huh?
Wait, who would win the math?
I'm pretty sure he did win the
No,
math
Emma
award.
Brody did.
No, Emma
Because Leighton got top overall.
Yeah.
He got top everything.
But he got like every other award.
I know.
Too.
Yeah, I asked science, top social, and then top English.
Moving on. How many people actually tried to do it all without touching their calculator?
I actually did, but I didn't get very far.
It took me, by the time we were done, it didn't be that
I
long to
don't
take
know.
over.
I got to the equation right, but I just can't do it in my calculator.
You can't do this on your calculator?
I don't know. I'm messing up so much.
That should have been a highlighted line because you're a piece of garbage. Is everybody good? Okay, now listen to me, please. Some of you will say, Mr. Myers, that's a stupid way to do that. Why would you do it that way?
So it's more efficient.
It is indeed more efficient. Why, Leighton?
So because when you solve the thing, you get more. You have a greater possibility of making mistakes.
Yes, that's the only reason, right? Is there autocorrect on your calculator? No. How many of you ever hit the wrong button when you've sent a text? All of you put your hand up. All the time. If it wasn't for autocorrect, you guys would be dead. You couldn't send one text without autocorrect.
Nope.
I don't have a correct.
Yes, you do.
I don't.
What phone do you have? A flip phone from 1989?
Okay, so you
Turn it off.
Oh, she turns it off. All right.
I turn off my auto.
Yeah, so then when you type OMW, it doesn't correct to on my way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
that is so annoying. What else does OMW mean?
Oh my
It
word.
does
Oh, my
like,
world.
it has like exclamation marks and like spaces and
I
like
only-
capitals. And
no,
it's
but you
correct.
look like a
Okay.
mom if you
I'll
say
correct.
on my way.
On my way.
No, because it's on my way with the O capitalized, the M capitalized, the W capitalized.
And there's
and
like
the
two exclamation marks or something.
So I'm writing my
So I'll do it in all capitals and then it'll send to Ayla like on my way.
I've seen
that.
Like, oh my god, how many look at it and then I'm like, on my way.
I saw that for
Attempt the same thing with 13. Do not go to your calculator until you are ready to go to your calculator. Lynn doesn't like that. Your calculator is a crutch, Lynn. Yes. Your calculator is a crutch.
My best friend.
Your calculator is a crutch. And there's a reason that kids 20 years ago were better at math than you guys.
I was your best friend. What's happened? You bullied me. You bullied me. Every time I come up
So, how many pieces of information do I need in a triangle in order to find unknowns?
2.
What two do I need? An angle and a side, or two sides. Two angles does not help you. So if I'm going to find MN, I need two pieces of information in LMN. Do I have one of them? So then I need either the blue line or the green line. Which one can I get? The blue line. Why? Because in the blue triangle, do I have two pieces of information?
Yes.
Yes. Go. Remember, you are to write it out and not touch your calculator. Unless you're Lynn, who's going to use her calculator to cut out my heart, because she hates this. And then I will do like that line in the original Robin Hood movie from 1991. Why would you use a calculator to cut out my heart? And Lynn will then say,
It'll hurt more.
because it'll hurt more.
I haven't watched the movie.
I don't get it.
Why would it hurt more?
In the movie Robin Hood, the Sheriff of Nottingham, who was Severus Snape.
What?
Severus Snape.
Yes. Severus Snape says to somebody that he's going to cut his heart out with a spoon. And the other guy, he says he's going to cut Robin Hood's heart out with a spoon. Lynn, let me get to the punchline. Then his dumb lackey says, why would you use a spoon? And the Sheriff of Nottingham says, because it'll hurt more.
More than what?
Then cutting it out with a knife. Because knives are sharp.
I don't get it.
Never mind. Lynn, would you like to meet Amshuman?
Hey, how's it going?
Rosemary got that joke. Thank you, Rosemary. I'll be appearing here till the end of February.
What joke?
End of
Yeah,
February.
End of January.
You just said Amshman.
Yeah.
Oh, because I don't get stuff and she doesn't get.
Amshman got the joke. Amshman, would you like to meet yourself? All right, here we go. My theta is 33.
Yes.
My h is 8.2. What do I need? My adjacent, which right now I'm going to call y. Yes?
I called it X.
Doesn't matter. It just needs a variable. But, Taylor, I never know if you guys joke because it's like the boy who cried wolf in here in math class.
I know that.
Because I often have students say, how can it be x or y?
Okay, sorry.
It's, no, you're not in trouble. Don't apologize.
Okay, fine.
The answer is 11.
So, of course, since we're doing cos 33 equals y over 8.2. So 8.2 cos 33 equals y. Yes? On my diagram. Maybe you made this q. It doesn't matter. Or x. Now, that means over here in this other triangle, my theta is 49. And what do I have? I have an h, but my h is what? 8.2 cos 33. And my o in my calculator is x. I bet Taylor made it y.
Yeah.
Nice. So, for me, o and h is sine. Sine 49 equals o x over 8.2 cos 33, yes? So 8.2 cos 33 times sine 49 will give me my x. And this is the skill I want you practicing this year. So it's not going to be useless that I printed the wrong pages 17 times. Okay? This is your goal this year. Last year you learned trig. You learned how to get the numbers. Just like when Mrs. Bagcrumble first taught you the area of a circle and she said, go ahead and use 3.14, yes? Yeah. And then in grade 10, I said, now let's practice using pi instead of 3.14, even though the math was the same, yes? So this year, let's practice writing all of our work out without ever going to our calculator until we need to. Well, be careful. You might hurt Lynn's feeling because Lynn and her calculator have a very special relationship. I know, Lynn. There's paper towel over there to dry your tears.
She always bullies me.
That hurts your underarms. It's too rough.
It does. Paper towel is horrible to wipe any kind of... Really, that brown paper towel is useless for wiping up any kind of fluid. Because anything you spill, it just kind of pushes it around.
Exactly. I don't get it. What is it? Just like the toilet paper in the bathrooms.
Yes. Although not yesterday, because when we built our school, we didn't think we might ever need to flush the toilet if the power went out.
Actually downstairs.
Yes, in the Heritage Wing, the toilet's flush, because the Heritage Wing is old plumbing. Plumbing that has worked since the time of the Roman Empire. Put water above your toilet. When the plug is open, gravity pulls it all through.
Is the changers the original changers?
Yes.
I'm like, what year?
No, they were built, I think, that gym, the pit was the original gym. So it's like 1953. Oh, I don't know. That's before my time. All right, so here we go. It's not a story, it's a true thing. The MEI, back in the day, Abbey was a super powerful school at everything because they were the only school out here. And there was a huge rivalry with MEI. And MEI's basketball team came to play here, and they are the MEI Screaming Eagles.
Yeah.
So somebody brought a chicken and dropped it out of the roof because chickens can't fly, to mock the Screaming Eagles. I don't know if the chicken died. I don't know. I wasn't here. You know who you should ask? Would be Mr. Radney. Would know.
But he told us that the old science class burned down.
There were a few incidents. All right. So, how are we going to do this question? What do I need? How many unknowns do I have?
You have
2. X and Y.
I remember this question.
No calculator allowed. How can I do this? I got the red triangle. I got the blue triangle. What do I know about the red triangle?
It has an angle of inclination of 29.
Theta of 29. Excellent. What else? Elevation, inclination, same thing. What else?
It has an adjacent.
It has an adjacent of what distance?
27.
27.5. And I need an O. That's my X, right?
Oh, because it's actually.
There you go. Theta is 34. A is 27.5. O is Y. And then, of course, height of each tree. You'd be done. What's this one? 27.5, tan 29. And what's this one? Tan 34. Abso-smurfly correct. Excellently done. Now, you now have all the tools you need. 15 is a hard question. Go. Remember, I don't want you touching your calculator until it's time to touch your calculator. 15 is difficult. GHJ. The angle of G to H to J. This whole angle. Go. It's a hard question. It's not a hard knock life. You're doing some trig in a $38 million school. It's not a hard knock life. Were we in the deepest, darkest jungles of Uganda, working on broken chalkboards?
They also have
And
a
trying to
hard
cure
life.
cancer.
No, they actually have a hard knock life.
In comparison to other 15-year-olds, I'm sorry that our life is hard.
What was spent on this school could have fed their country.
Mr. Myers, guess what?
What?
I'm going to concert today.
Are you? What are you going to?
The weekend.
Oh, I'm going to Imagine Dragons on Sunday.
Where are you going?
Imagine Dragons on Sunday.
My parents are flying my whole family to San Francisco and buying my sister tickets to see one of the members of One Direction. I asked for a single ticket to Imagine Dragons, knowing that I would bus there and back, and they're like, no, too expensive. I was like, some people are starving on the streets, so.
And on Saturday, I'm going to the Wilderness of Manitoba, but none of you know who they are.
Oh, I thought you actually meant that.
No, the band, the Wilderness of Manitoba, which ironically are not from Winnipeg. They're from Toronto.
I think I would rather go.
No, they're a super good band. Fair enough.
Wait. Oh, dang. I'm so lost. My friend had tickets all the world. Lindsay, you can't. That's sad. I know.
Lincoln Park.
Oh, I'm just
Yes.
I accidentally brought this home with me. It's my test.
Okay.
Because my mark's not checked.
How could it be in Check My Mark? You took it away.
Wait, you can use the computer just as you go, or like?
No.
Okay, so one go.
One go.
Oh, I don't want that.
So, what do I need to do?
You need to get the
angle of the
Gather what you know.
You need this,
yeah.
which would mean you need two pieces of information, yes?
Adjacent and hypotenuse.
You have that, so you need either hypotenuse or here.
Yeah.
Which one can you get? The bottom one. Why, Blake? You can use Pythagoras right there, can't you? Well, this is the square root of 9 squared minus 6 squared, isn't it?
Yes.
Right? Which is the square root of 81 minus 36, which is 45, yeah? So that's the square root of 45. And what's that? 4. So what's the whole bottom? Square root of 45 plus 4, yes? Now, your theta, I don't know, your adjacent is 6, and your opposite is 4 plus root 45, isn't it? Okay, so what do I need? Shift tan of plus root 45 over 6. How do you do that on your calculator? What are you going to need to add that we didn't write? You're going to need brackets. Where?
In 4.
Now I'm interested to see if anybody can punch that in one go. What's the answer? Just for fun.
Big one. I don't know.
Who has an answer for me?
Wait, that's 45, right?
Blake? 60.7. Hey, Avneet, how come you're not cheering? How come you're not cheering? Avnor, how come you're not cheering? Or, sorry, not Avnor. No, Armand, yes. How come you're not cheering? I'm looking for people to be cheering because Blake just gave an answer that was right. When Layton gives an answer, everyone's like, Blake gives an answer, crickets. It's okay, Blake, I'm working for you. Sorry, Armand.
It was 16.
It was 60.7. I did shift tan because I have a forward calculator. Bracket 4 plus root 45, close brackets. Oh, you needed two brackets, sorry. No.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you go shift tan, and then put another bracket.
You need another bracket.
Like that. And then 4 plus root 45.
Close brackets, divided by 4, 6, then close brackets again. Now, guys, why am I forcing you to do this? Two reasons. One, I printed the wrong pages and I want to make them useful. But that's not really why. Why am I really doing it? Because you guys are so focused on your calculators, but you're actually often not very good with them. You're not using them to their full potential. Okay? So the more we practice with stuff like this, the longer stuff we can get into our calculator, the better.
I keep getting 78.
Do you have a forward calculator or a backward calculator? Okay, so push shift tan. And does that make a bracket on yours? Okay, so now you need to start a new bracket. You've got a bracket showing, yes? everything in these brackets, right? But according to your question, you need that bracket on the top. That's what I'm doing, right? So you got to bracket again for the top. 4 plus, where's your root 45. Close the bracket on the 45. And then close the bracket again, so it says 4 plus root 45. Then divided by 6. Then close the brackets to finish your tan. Because your tan started there. Now, when I close the brackets here, it's going to get divided by 6.
Oh, it's just round.
And again, it's not you don't know how to use this. It's not you can do it by steps, right? But let's get something out of this, right? Because you can all do the trick, so let's learn a new skill. Except for Lynn, whose calculator is your best friend. Alright! Let's do 16. Oh, by the way, guys, the bell is going to ring at some point. I want up to the end of 67 done for tomorrow. Same thing we do every day, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
I'm on
That's
10.
from Pinky.
Do yourselves a favor and attempt these questions on 65, 66, and 67 the way we have been working so far. Try to write it all out and not go to your calculator until the end. And tomorrow you can see the right answers. Now, I know a great many of you are going to be very stressed by this, and you're actually going to go home and you're going to do these using your calculator all the way along to see if you were right. You don't need to do that. Okay? Don't. Come back tomorrow with honestly having attempted to write it all out and do it all in one shot. Okay? Learn a new skill. Your new skill, your trig is good. I know you're all awesome at trig. But I want to improve your calculator usage as well. Okay? So let's learn how to use our machines. Alrighty? Well, no, that's the... In a perfect world, Kayla, I would have you using your head for all math. Like, how often do you honestly see me reaching for a calculator? Like, honestly, how often do I reach for it? Very rarely. You guys grab your calculator for 75 divided by 15. 5.
Yeah.
What kind of bugles are those?
Those are new bugles. They're Cool Ranch. I just got them at Walmart last night. They're on sale for $2 a bag.
That's pretty sweet.
I know, and they're delicious.
Actually, I tend to pretty savory.
What? It is recording. Now everybody knows I like ranch bugles.
That's okay, I like bugles too.
I had to be careful though because they may contain wheat. Ooh. Wheat.
Oh, I have to figure out what
The logo looks like bleach. The bleach sign. Oh, sorry. Like it looks like it's like bleach.
Bugles. Bugles. Where do you get bleach?
I don't know. You know on those like the bottles, the
comment.
the like Clorox or whatever. It has like that. It's like Clorox in big letters with the colorful name, like that one. The Clorox label.
Hey, wait a minute. Class is 20 more minutes.
Really? Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
We have 9 more minutes.
We played ourselves.
Yeah, it ends at 1:20. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, it's still recording.
You got to read number 16 very carefully.
Guy?
That's what you call, okay, you know when you see a big cell phone tower and there's wires, cables down to the ground? That's a guy wire.
But what do you call your guy?
Why can't it be a woman?
Because that's its name. It's a guy wire. Okay? It doesn't have a gender, so it doesn't matter what you call it.
But you literally just call him a guy.
No,
His name, Jesus.
that's what it's called, a guy wire.
That's like when you name your child Guy and expect people to not make fun of them.
Well, first of all, when you name your child Guy, you're actually naming your child Guy, because it's a French name. Guy. Guy. Guy.
Is it a girl
It's a boy's name, like Guy Lafleur, the famous hockey player. Guy the Flower. Well, in English.
That's such a weird name.
I know. But Guy Lafleur, famous hockey player. Guy the Flower? Not somebody you want to meet, most likely. I would have no problem meeting somebody named Guy the Flower. I knew a girl when I was in grade 5. I knew a girl named Fleur. But she wasn't French. She was Israeli. But her parents named her Fleur. My kid's name is a French name. Yeah. But it's spelled English, but pronounced French. Because my son's name is that. But it's pronounced Sinjin. Because it's a French name.
St. John.
No, his name is Sinjin.
I know, but like,
Yeah, everybody calls him St. John.
Wait, and your
Sounds so
daughter's
bad.
name is Elizabeth, right?
No, Bethany.
Oh yeah, Bethany.
I didn't want to name her Elizabeth because I didn't want her to get called Liz.
I get called the middle name.
What are they called?
I wouldn't like that either. I wanted to name I wanted a daughter named Beth, but I don't believe in one-syllable names. So I had to name her Bethany.
But your name is Elizabeth.
No, my name is Matthew. I don't believe in a one-syllable name because as a parent, I want to be able to yell my kid's full name. And I want the satisfaction.
Whatever name you inspires that. Would you, if you get mad at him, would you say like St.
Sigrid Xavier Charles Myers. I even gave him extra names so I would have more satisfaction as a parent.